Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is an amazing way for you to exit your highly appreciated business, cryptocurrency, real estate, save a failed 1031 exchange, eliminate the need for having to move to Puerto Rico, and so much more so that you can create and preserve more wealth and have the freedoms that you desire. Each episode, I'm joined by some of the best real estate, financial, wealth, and sometimes M&A advisors, business brokers who share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. We're also streaming on expert CRE secrets as well, where we're helping in people who are in the commercial real estate arena, brokers who are trying to level up their way of helping their clients sell for higher price and better terms and more freedom. I'm excited about our next guest. He is out of Puerto Rico, originally from Kansas. He traveled a bit with his parents growing up being in the military, but he has kind of a really cool background. He's an American entrepreneur, triathlete, author, and business broker. After reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book that inspired him to dream of financial freedom and passive income, and he exited his first company in 2016, which was an e-commerce technology company platform. And he learned that selling a company and using the proceeds to buy passive income was far easier than trying to run it passively. He now focuses like a laser as a business broker to close $1 to $150 million internet technology e-commerce business. Please welcome to the show with me, Mr. Nate Lynn. Nate, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing awesome, Brett. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. For our listeners getting to know for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur all my adult life. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and went the path of self-employment. And 20 years in, I'd realized I had some pretty large business successes under my belt, but not near as much passive income as I wanted. And also had a huge tax burden in 2016, and started looking for some different options to keep more of what I was making. And I ended up settling on moving to Puerto Rico. The tax benefits there were pretty astounding. But I heard you say it in the intro, if you're not moving to Puerto Rico, get a trust set up, and you're the best option. So
thanks, yeah. Nate. Appreciate it, man. So I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, Nate, and I believe these gifts have been given to be a blessing and help to others. So I'm curious, like when Nate was growing up, Nate's moving around with a family, military. Nate might be doing some sports, might be doing some different things. But more than that, what were the one or two strengths or gifts that you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Well, I was talking about this with my kids recently. We've all been in a habit of moving a lot, so we've had to become friends quickly with people. So kind of that meeting and connecting and getting to know people has become a strong suit of mine. And I've turned that into an entire career. I'm like a matchmaker for businesses that are digital technology or internet related. As they're thinking about going through their exit process, I match them up with some incredible buyers that are looking to acquire assets like what they built. So it directly is relational to my childhood experience of moving place to place and meeting new people, overcoming that fear of, speaking to a stranger, speaking to somebody that you don't know anything about, and getting to know them a little bit, find out what it is that, they're interested in. And if there's a synergy there, we match up and make deals happen.
That's awesome. So it sounds like meeting, connecting, new relationships with new people in different places, different backgrounds. I imagine the diversity you got growing up with all of that change and the ability to connect with people. Is that a fair summary?
Absolutely. That's me in a nutshell.
Perfect. So now let's dive right into the topic at hand, which is maximizing your business exit when selling. Nate, what's the number one secret to doing just that?
You need to have a good set of books. You need to make sure that you've got a bookkeeper or accountant, somebody that has, properly categorized your revenue and your expenses. Make sure that you've got it really simple. Don't overcomplicate things, but you need to have the specificity to detail out what some of these expenses are, potentially just discretionary. So you as the owner of the business, you may be Maybe you're using some of the business money for travel and for some other expenses and calling it, business expense. You can totally do that and still get the tax write-off for it, but make sure that you've categorized that and like salary and other stuff in a very specific way so that I can add it back to your to the number that we use for your multiple. So salaries, for instance, if you are put you and your employees all as one line in your financials called salaries, it makes my life a living hell when I'm trying to explain that to a buyer that you're replaceable and you're not needed, and your salary is lumped in with all the other employees who are maybe not replaceable and are needed, that are true expense for the business. We can't take the employee salaries and add those back, but oftentimes we can for the founder's salary, or at least one of, if there's partners, we can take one of them.
Got it. So it sounds like a good set of books. And really what that means is having conviction and confidence in what the income and expenses truly are. And in order to communicate that to a potential new buyer, it needs to be really detailed on like exactly what this expense is, whether it's travel, whether it's salary, or it's multiple employees. Is that a fair summary so far?
It is, and it needs to be GAAP compliant. You need to make sure if you're a larger business and you fall under the details that if you need to be an accrual based business, you need to report your revenue and your expenses on an accrual basis, as opposed to just doing cash. If you're holding in any inventory, you have to do accrual. I hate to break it to you. Sorry, it's easy to just do cash, but it's not. I can't show the true profit of the business month to month to a buyer if you've got $100,000 invoice for inventory January, and then you trickle sell that out over 3 or 4 months, and then another $100,000 invoice for inventory in June. It makes it a nightmare.
Got it. So good set of books is secret number 1. What is secret number 2, Nate, to maximizing your business exit when selling?
Be thinking about it ahead of time. Often I get approached by people that are bored or burnt out, or they've got a burning passion for a change, and they want it sold yesterday. Unfortunately, M&A, it's not like flipping a 3-2 townhouse in the most desirous area for cash flow purposes in Northern Virginia. They don't go under contract necessarily in 2 days. The fastest deal I've done from start to finish was like 66 days. But ordinarily, you're looking at a 3 to 4 month time frame, as long as everyone's on their step and getting things done. So it does take a little bit of time. But if you're in the 6 to 12 months range of maybe looking for your exit, you need to be reaching out to an advisor at that point. And I've got clients that I've been working with for a year or 2 years prior to their exit. And all the work that we do from me, it's all free. As long as they give me a guarantee that I'm listing the business with them, I'll dedicate the time and all the consultation that I know how to get them the biggest exit they can get. So there's some timing in play that it's helpful if you're kind of planning down the road to reach out. Okay,
so be proactive and think about it ahead of time, and make sure that you're building the team, you're building the strategy or strategies to make sure you can maximize the sales price for secret number 2. Is that a fair summary, Nate?
Absolutely.
All right, Nate, what is the third secret to maximizing your business exit when selling?
Be likable. People want to work with and do business with folks they like. And, think about the words that come out of your mouth. If you find yourself using a negative tone, if you downplay or diminish your expertise, your business's value, verbally, sets a poor tone for the buyer to be interested in buying your business. And I wish I didn't have to say this, but refrain from using all the all the cussing on the phone or expletives when you're talking about your business. Just speak in a calm and cool and professional manner, and make yourself available to the widest audience of people that could be attracted to your business and get along with you. If you've got a really highly opinionated view on things, that's fine. If you can, create some reticence around what you're sharing when a buyer is getting ready to plunk down 7, 8, 9 figures for you, it's a smart time to do it. You need to be true and authentic to yourself, but you can also do it in a way that's speaking about yourself and your business in a positive way, and not complaining, whining, or blaming others, which unfortunately just doesn't play well.
Absolutely. It makes sense. Be likable. With all things in life, but especially if you're selling your business for a lot of money and you want the buyer to know, like, and trust you and be able to make a smooth, clear transaction. By the way, you can learn more about Nate Lind, it's LIND, by going to natelind.com/gift. He has a special gift for you. who are listening here. It's natelind.com/gift. And we're talking with him about maximizing your business exit when selling. So Nate, it's kind of cool on your website. You're talking about you sell real estate, or you sell companies like realtors sell homes.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So I'm an M&A advisor. Basically, I'm doing like what a realtor does, except it's the full business. So anything in the internet, technology, digital, SaaS, e-commerce, and then, one step away from that in the vendor universe. We sell a lot of digital marketing companies. We sell software that helps people sell direct to consumers. We sell online digital marketplaces. Like I'm in the process of selling a land digital market, or a land marketplace where people are buying and selling land. All that sort of stuff is what I serve, and I do it just like what a realtor does when you're selling a house. Someone comes to me, I help prepare the asset, the property for listing. It's the company. I have a marketplace. It's called Website Closers. Myself and many colleagues are franchisees of the mothership, and we list just like a Keller Williams office. Like we own our own franchises under the umbrella of Keller Williams. Like we all own our franchises of Website Closers underneath the main umbrella. We list our clients' businesses on the marketplace. We work with dozens of other brokers that are on the firm marketplace as well. And then we're working to communicate with the buyers who are attracted to these businesses. And it is a seller's market. Don't let the economy and the recession fool you. I still have hundreds of buyers vying for the attention of every single listing that's on our marketplace. And on our website right now, you can see some examples. This is my personal website, but you can see some examples of some of the entrepreneurs I've guided through exits. I've had an incredible opportunity to serve some very, very special entrepreneurs, and they love and rave about me. I am super proud to share their testimonials right on the front of my website. I've got videos of them raving and appreciating on me, which I love doing this. I've sold businesses. I've also shut them down. I've had businesses go bankrupt, and frustrated to admit it, but with failures also comes recognizing the next success. And I've been able to guide my own exits as well as my clients' exits to some incredible monetary functions on the outside of that.
Nate, absolutely love it. I love your passion. I love the use of technology. I love the approach of maximizing and being efficient with your team. And by the way, Nate also has a book called Maximum Exit, MAXIMUM Exit, Nate Lynn, and it's helping you develop and guide you for internet technology focused business founders and answers to 12 other critical questions on how to sell your business for top dollar. So Nate Lynn, I want to transition into capital gains tax, something we kind of focus on, especially for people who help exit $1 million assets. So I'm curious, Nate, what would you say is the biggest frustration when it comes to those that you are serving and helping who are selling a 10, 50, $100 million business, and they have a huge capital gains tax challenge? What's the biggest frustration you've seen as it pertains to strategies that they might be considering using?
Yeah, biggest one I'm seeing is California residents get the hell out of California. Some massive taxes you have to incur as being a resident, and there's attorneys that specialize in helping you extradite yourself, how to get out of California without having a taxable consequence in the back end of that. So if you're thinking about exiting and you're in California and you're not keen on paying 13.5% to the state of California, you need to figure out where to domicile yourself somewhere otherwise. And Brett, correct me if I'm wrong on some of these things. I don't know if the trusts can help in some of that part of it, but that's a big frustration a lot of my clients have. Many of my California clients have left California prior to the exit, Nevada, Texas, Florida, to avoid that big chunk. And then another big one, a lot of times people will see, let's say a $10 million exit, results in, maybe $5 million in cash at closing, another $5 million structured out as equity and earn out or other payments. But that $5 million starts to get diminished when you've got partners that you're splitting it up with, when you've got the sales tax that's going on, and then also you do have, a commission for, a broker like myself, just like you would a realtor, and closing costs. So that money does start to disappear, quicker than you might think. And having a tax plan is really important. Most people are not moving to Puerto Rico. I don't think I've had a single client do that yet. So the reality is you need to get yourself set up with, charitable remainder trust or another functional trust that you can move your money into. And I'd recommend, try not to live on all that money, because I think, again, Brett, this is your background, but you're going to get taxed on whatever you pull out and doesn't go in the trust. You're going to get taxed pretty quick about that. So that's going to cost you a chunk of change. So if you got a $5 million, pot of money coming to you, and you're going to go buy $1 million house, you're going to be paying taxes on that $1 million. A tax structure is not going to help you with that. Maybe it can save you on that $4 million in some various ways. But a lot of times my clients, they don't understand that from the time that you get a business valuation at $10 million, you're not ending up with $10 million in your pocket. There's a lot of things that go into it, and the money does start to disappear in various ways. So you have to be conscious of every penny.
Yeah, good thoughts. And I'll reply to a couple of those, right, Nate? And I couldn't agree with you more. So the answer is it all depends, right? So every single circumstance is a little bit different. So whether you live in California, and depending on what you're selling in California, and if it's Nexus in California, or if it's sourced in California, these are all certain things and how the entity is structured, and you want to be aware of that. If it's property, for example, you've done multiple 1031 exchanges, like investment property, even if you exchange out into like a Texas or a Florida, that Nexus is still California. And so they're still owed their tax. Now, if it's a business or e-commerce, that's technology, yeah, there might be some creative ways and that you might be able to restructure. I'm not sure. That might be neat to have that connection there. But What's neat about the deferred sales trust, regardless of what you're selling, wherever you're at, you can exit in a way that gives you tax deferral, can give you elimination of the estate tax, but give you those freedoms and flexibilities to be an entrepreneur, or to be a real estate investor, or to be completely passive into real estate or stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And otherwise, diversify your wealth without having to do all of those hoops. So sometimes people are calling us, and there's 30 days to close. There's 15 days to close, and they may not have the time to be able to structure everything in a way that could be more advantageous. And so we encourage you to go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, where you can learn all about how to build not only a tax flow exit plan, but also a team to help you execute this. Because it's not just the strategy or the idea, it's always hiring the who, being the how, that team to help you with that wealth creation, that wealth preservation. Same reason why you want to hire Nate, to make sure you're maximizing your sales price, right? And you're getting the best offer, the best terms, most amount of buyers potentially looking at it, so you can have certainty of close and a high price. You want to check out the Deferred Sales Trust as a way. By the way, you don't have to give it away to charity. You don't have to buy a bunch of life insurance, and it's super flexible for the investments. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more about that. Any thoughts on that?
I completely agree. They need to be giving you a call as soon as they've given me a call. And probably better yet, they need to be giving you a call before me. And then I would recommend, if you get a call from them and they don't have a broker on the phone, you should call me too, because they're going to need a lot of help and a lot of people on their team. Because together, I kick the crap out of anybody that's just going to end up selling it on their own. I can always get a better price. I've got so many more buyers. We do 300 businesses a year. We sold 3,000 of them. So if you're in the internet, digital tech like space, and you think your business is going to sell over $1 million and probably under 150 million, I've got those buyers already. So it's
a no-brainer. Go to natelyn.com/gift, natelyn.com/gift to get started. And I imagine, Nate, you probably do a no-cost analysis in consultation to kind of give them an overview.
Absolutely. I'll do a free business valuation and a sales plan. And, it's just an interview. It's a two-way interview. They're whoever it is that wants to talk to me, they're looking to get a feel for what I can do and how I can help them. And the same time too, I need to understand a little bit more about their business, because I can't list businesses on my marketplace that buyers aren't going to be interested in. It's just a waste of time. So I need to, pre-screen that and make sure there's a fit both ways. And then off to the races we go. Then they'll be the next person, putting a warm testimonial on my website.
Yep, we work the same way too, by the way, for those who are curious. No cost, no obligation. We work through to see. And exactly right, we are looking for folks like Nate to refer business to, because we do have a lot of business owners who, I always say, plan the tax flow exit strategy before you list and sell, because they're so crucial. You've worked so hard for so long to build blood, sweat, and tears for 25 to 50% to be wiped out by capital gains tax and depreciation recapture, and/or the ability to eliminate estate tax in one sale. It's like the fourth quarter, there's 10 seconds to go. Like, don't fumble the ball, right? Just get it across the goal line. But it's going to take a team. It's going to take some preparation. You need to set these things up prior to the close of escrow, even prior typically to the buyer removing all contingencies, unless it's an investment property. And if you're curious what the Deferred Sales Trust works for, it works for not only business exits. It could be S Corp, C Corp, LLC, partnerships. It could be e-commerce business. It could be car washes. It could be, we did cryptocurrency, primary homes. It works for investment real estate. You can save a failed 1031 exchange. Just go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That being said, Nate, are you ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
All right. Knowing what you know now, Nate, if you can go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
I would say that you're going to make it. It doesn't matter what the obstacle looks like that's coming at you. Do the best that you can. Be easy and graceful with yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. And just keep putting one foot in front of the other, because you come out on the other end of it and it is a magical life.
Excellent. Question number 2. What's your number one book you're reading now or have gifted in the past year?
Man, I am a big fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I haven't read it in a couple of years, but that is like definitely one of my favorites to give to people. I'm reading a book right now for my kids. It's called like the 86 Ways to How Not to Suck in Life. And we're going through like each chapter. It's a little bit about like not conforming necessarily to the group thinking, and maybe do some apprenticeships as opposed to just going straight into to college. So those are 2 nuggets for you.
That's pretty cool. I'll check that one out. I got 5 kids myself. I'm going to pick that one up.
Yeah.
Question number 3. What are you most curious about right now?
I'm super curious about just a deeper experience in myself. I'm kind of been on a spiritual path. I did an assessment of myself in kind of the realms of like physical and mental, intellectual and spiritual. And I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I've just, I'm glowing at the work I do. I've been able to do, multiple Ironmans. So there's some areas coming from, the little fat boy in Kansas and Virginia who was picked on and bullied, a lot of things that, I had trauma with growing up as a kid. I've been able to prove to myself and experience that that's not applicable to who I am as an adult now. But one of those things that I've been embarking on is some alternate spirituality. Was raised in a Christian environment, and it was just something that was I was used to and experienced with, but that doesn't vibe with me. And I'm just exploring some of the different theologies and methodologies, and really leaning toward shamanism and some indigenous religious cultures.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Nate. Yeah, and that's and sorry for the childhood stuff. That's never easy, and but glad to see you're on the other side of it, and now you can share your story, which is great. You can inspire some people. Second last question: what would you say is the one thing that this year or the next 90 days or before the end of the year that if you did, accomplish that for your business, it would help you to, everything else would either become irrelevant or less important?
Yeah, I'm really working on my outreach individually. I get a lot of lead flow from our main office, website closers, but I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a book out. I've got a new website launched. I'm doing a lot of content. I'm looking for the long haul. I've been doing this for many years, and I'm not going anywhere. In the next 20 years, I'm going to be at this. And I feel blessed that I found my life calling. I spent a decade in real estate, very transactional, a decade as an e-commerce entrepreneur, very operational. And so now I'm marrying those together as a business broker for e-commerce, digital, and tech businesses. So I know the transaction and the operations, unlike any other business broker out there. So now it's heavy investment in content and education, because I want to serve the audience of folks that maybe they don't even want to work with me and they want to do it on their own. And that's fine if they want to go that path. It's a hard path, but it is doable. So that's the big thing I'm working on, is content and content strategy and SEO for this year. I think that's going to be a long-term payoff.
Phenomenal. Last question, Nate. What's the number one practice that you practice either each day, each week, or routinely that helps you stay centered in your values and stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
Exercising. Absolutely. I was overweight and out of shape for the majority of my life. And I really came into exercise about 3 years ago. And I, run, cycle, swim, walk, hike, something every day. And I found specifically for men too, I'm big in masculine and feminine polarity. And for guys out there, if you don't have an established exercise routine, doesn't have to look the same as mine. It doesn't have to look the same as Bob next door, but find something that you can get your heart rate up and get that going, because we're all cavemen at heart, and we needed to be out there and hunt 10,000 years ago. I don't think we're that much different nowadays. You still need to get your heart rate up, and you're going to feel great for it.
Amazing, Nate. I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. So much great content, great encouragement, great stories. All of the above was really informative and inspirational. I want to encourage you to keep using your gifts and strengths of connecting with people and creating, relationships that are meaningful, and that a way to connect people to help them sell their business at a high price and get the freedom they're looking for. For those who want to get in touch with you, Nate, would you mind one last time, what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, if you go to my website, natelynn.com, there's a contact form on it. You can just shoot it. I get them all. I look at them all. I'll respond to everyone. I promise you. We've got a YouTube channel. Everything you can get to or that you need to get to is right off of my website, natelynn.com. That's me.
Thanks, Nate. And I also want to thank everyone for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also stream on Expert CRE Secrets YouTube channel and podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, sometimes they struggle with capital gains tax when it comes to exiting. Sometimes they want to either move out of state of California or move out of New York or move to Puerto Rico or do all these different things. And we're really focused on trying to give you the freedoms when you exit, with working with someone amazing like Nate to get a high price and a good term, but also to defer that capital gains tax or eliminate some of that estate tax. And so you want to build a team, you want to have a tax flow mindset, and we want to encourage you to go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, download our free ebook. Also, we just released a brand new book. It's called Building a Capital Gains Tax Exit Plan. We do have the Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and other commercial real estate and financial advisors in here. And basically, it's my story on helping people exit and how we came to understand the value of being able to exit in a way that can provide freedom for you. So you want to pick up the book. It's going to be on Amazon like right now. So check that out. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate everyone out there, and we'll